Right then, hello there, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you happen to be. My name is Paul, and also called Knack Knack. I'm the brains behind the Daily Teaser, which is a totally fun and enjoyable quiz. Please try and keep an eye open in that little eye in the corner. If I do remember to put it there, I'll put it there. If I don't, feel free to subscribe to my channel and go exploring and having a look around for it. They're hopefully fun, enjoyable, and really rather interesting. I also talk about films when I get to see them, and hopefully at some point I'll catch Dune Part 2. But I also try and catch TV shows as well. I try and watch ones I like, I try and watch them and do a review of them, and then I'll post it here on YouTube or on my blog, Knack Knack's Old Peculiar, just in case I get lucky and you sit down and watch it to see what you think I thought of the show, if that makes sense. At any rate, it's Saturday the 8th of June, and I've managed to catch episode 6 of this new series of Doctor Who called Rogue, and I wanted to tell you what I thought. Episode 6, Rogue, opens with the usual Whoniverse ident, and then shifts to show us Regency period Bath in 1813. Where Lord Galpin, Maxim Hayes, is arguing with Lord Barton, Paul Foreman, as the scandalous Barton has dishonoured Galpin's sister 3 whole times, and one of them in the stable. This leads to Lord Galpin demanding Barton marry his, Galpin's, sister, demands which lead to Lord Galpin's very sticky end. Host titles, we see the Doctor and Ruby are also in Bath at a soiree hosted by the Duchess of Pemberton, Indira Varma. That same soiree where we'd seen Galpin and Barton in the garden. But where Galpin and Barton were arguing, the Doctor and Ruby are in the main hall mixing and dancing with the rest of the guests and with the Duchess herself. It's only after the Doctor has explained to Ruby how she's learnt 19th century dancing that the pair get to meet the Duchess, whilst the Duchess matchmates for Ruby and the Doctor needs to check something Ruby's psychic earrings have highlighted. It seems something, or someone, is seriously out of place. Right, what did I make of episode 6 of Rogue? I have to confess, I grew up on the early years of Tom Baker's era of Doctor Who, which I would say is from his first appearance in Robot in 74 up until about 78 to 79, the Key to Time season. So I tend to think of anything in that sort of gothic era of the show, especially the earlier years, as my era of the show. I feel the same about Peter Capaldi's time in the show. It's the equally as gothic era of the modern show, much to my taste. This season, I felt Boom and 73 Yards match that very dark tone. But that Space Babies and The Devil's Called, as wonderful as they are comparatively light in tone. They're sort of Peter Davison early 80s era, or late Tom Baker. Dot and Bubble, I think we can say, has that similar tone, I feel. Although, yes, I will be honest, it does have its nasty side and a point to raise, and I think Dot and Bubble is going to get discussed for years. My point in amongst all this verbiage is simply this, that I prefer the grimmer episodes of this season, and I don't necessarily think that Rogue is one of them. It is definitely a well-made episode. Jonathan Groff, as the titular Rogue, makes for a suitably moody, slightly Byronic romantic hero, and Indira Varma in the dual role of the Duchess of Pemberton and the other version of the Duchess of Pemberton was wonderful to watch. The external locations are utterly gorgeous, the garden area on the outside of the building, and Rogue's ship, inside and out, was utterly gorgeous. The exterior of that ship looks as bird-like as the Chaldea, the monsters of this story. I'm assuming that that is a deliberate design decision, to go for a bird-like theme. It's a well-done one, whatever way we look at it. The Regency Ball itself is very good and very entertaining to watch, although I couldn't tell if it's period accurate. I have not seen enough balls to be able to judge.
Don't even go there. I can see the funny remarks.
At either rate, and back to my serious point, there is possibly a lot to say about the bull. I don't know if it's accurate, but it did look good. There is more, possibly, to say. More to say. Yes, I think there is possibly more, possibly less to say about Rogue, or at least there are opinions and observation, minor or otherwise, that I can offer. In the run-up to this season being shown, I saw various bits of speculation online that Groff's character was a revamped Captain Jack Harkness. Rogue, now it's been aired, finally has told us otherwise. The character is a bounty hunter, but a far more honest character than Harkness. He's a good man doing a dirty job, and a dirty job that's costing some, as we see from his conversation with the Doctor. He's honest, he's doing a dirty job, but he's capable of changing course or changing tack when offered with new evidence. Jack, by contrast, started out as a con man, a bad boy, and goes through a redeeming period over the course of both Doctor Who and Torchwood. Redeemed, yes, but even so, capable of incredible evil. Remember, in Series 3 of Torchwood, Children of Earth, he has to kill his own grandson in order to stop the 456 aliens. That is not the actions necessarily of a hero. It's the actions of a very desperate man trying to stop disaster. He's as human, Jack Harkness, as the rest of us. Yes, he's immortal, and that changes you, but he's as capable of as great a good and as fantastic and evil as the rest of us. Rogue, by contrast, simply seems to be a rather bland hero, a good man doing a dirty job. We are going to have to see how the character develops if he returns. There are other things buried in this episode. For starters, there's a lot of mentions of Bridgerton in Rogue. Are they justified? I actually don't know, because I've never actually seen the blessed thing. From what I can tell, Bridgerton itself features no homicidal alien bird people in. I will probably watch it at some point if I see a Bridgerton trailer that shows me hideous great tentacled things leaping out on people. Yes, quite. At any rate, other things. The basic idea is familiar. That basic idea of shape-shifting aliens pretending to be human reminded me of a couple of things. The 10th Doctor era's Human Nature, Family of Blood two-parter. Again, it's evil aliens pretending to be human. It also vaguely reminded me of the Christopher Eccleston series, the Raxacoricophalopatorian flat family Slitheen in Aliens in London and Boomtown. Again, the reminder was there. Aliens disguised as humans doing so for their own purposes. While we're on the shape-changing front, something I did notice was that the Doctor lets Rogue see his previous faces, just to prove he's not a hideous alien bird creature. Those faces include John Hurt's War Doctor, they include Jo Martin's Fugitive Doctor, and they also include Richard E. Grant's Scream of the Shauka Doctor, his version of the Ninth Doctor that was an alternative to the later Christopher Eccleston Ninth Doctor. It's nice to see it's been acknowledged, and it's nice to see it's been officially remembered, but it's also something I'm going to actually possibly have to go out and try and catch at some point, because again, it's one of those things I've never actually seen. I think David Tennant did a couple of cartoon versions, online cartoon versions as well, and generally not something I've seen. Why, I don't know. At any rate, it's nice to see the thing acknowledged in the main series. What else crawled across my attention? Rogue, the character, mentions that he has to fill in paperwork for his new boss. Is this the same one that's also been mentioned in The Star Beast and The Devil's Called? I don't know. But I'm assuming so, and I'm assuming it's something we'll find out about in the last couple of episodes. There's also a very minor thing that got the old role-playing game side of me interested. The Doctor spots dice in Rogue ships, the kind of polyhedral dice used for playing things like Dungeons and Dragons. From left to right, my script is telling me there are 20-sided dice, 10-sided dice, 12-sided dice, 8-sided dice, another 10-sided dice for use as 100-sided dice, a box standard 6-sided dice, and a 4-sided one, the one that's the little tetrahedron. That's just for your information. Make of that what you will. And it ought to be said that it's good to see Indira Varma back in the franchise. She's been in a few things I've seen over the years, but I know her from her appearances as Susie Costello in 2 episodes of Torchwood, where she gets killed off twice. I remember seeing her as Niobe in the old HBO BBC series, Rome, where her character tragically dies. She also cropped up in Game of Thrones, where her character doesn't die, but ends up getting tortured in a dungeon. The fact that one version of her character in Rogue survives is quite possibly a good thing, because it means she doesn't get typecast. As a last final point, I couldn't help but notice how Ncuti's version of the Doctor introduces himself in this episode by saying, "I'm the Doctor," rather than using the phrase, "My name is the Doctor," used in Boom and Dot and Bobble. It's a small thing, it's bloody picky of me, but I prefer the latter, "I'm the Doctor," rather than "My name is the Doctor," because the variations of that first phrase have been used for years and years and years. Sometimes I just like a little bit of tradition sticking around somewhere. Right, with all of that said, done, dusted, swept under the carpet, what did I make of Rogue? Yes, I think it's a light, fluffy, romantic episode. One that, let's be honest, because of that kiss, is going to have both detractors and supporters. Yes, it is also not one of my favourite episodes, but yes, it's a perfectly well-made, watchable, fun episode. It's one that adds an interesting new alien species. It's one that sees Indira Varma putting in a very good performance. It's one that sees Ncuti Gatwa excelling himself this time around, and that's something I've no doubt said before. But it also adds a potentially recurring new character in the shape of Groff's title character. How that could work out long term, I don't know. Right at the moment, I am more concerned with the next episode, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. I will be watching that on Saturday the 15th of June and posting my video and written reviews of it by Sunday the 16th. I hope you care to join me when I watch it. I hope you care to join me in talking about it here on YouTube and on Nick Nuck's Old Ophelia. Please feel free to subscribe, shove some money in the tip jar if you liked what I've done, but please have a very good week. I will see you next time. Take care, have fun, and to quote Patrick McGowan, be seeing you.